Spin is an integral part of tennis, but have you ever wondered why? Sure, coaches might tell you to focus on your topspin, or to utilize the slice in certain situations, but for what reason? And why does spin affect the way a tennis ball behaves? Well, after watching this video, you'll understand the physics behind spin and how to abuse it in tennis. Before I discuss why spin is a powerful tool in tennis, it's good to understand the physics behind it. Imagine a ball hit straight on by a racket. This is what you call a flat shot. Its trajectory will be pretty much what you expect. It will rise and then fall due to gravity, creating a parabolic path. Now, consider a ball hit with topspin. The ball's trajectory will be very similar to that of a flat shot, except for one thing. You'll notice that the ball changes its direction more violently than the flat shot, or in other words, it will have a higher curvature. Topspin makes the ball dip into the court at a faster rate. Finally, consider a slice, also known as an underspin shot. Again, it will have the same parabolic path, except this time it begins to fall at a much slower rate, and its path has a much smaller curvature. Slice will help keep the ball in the air longer. So, why does a ball's spin affect its behavior? The mechanism responsible for this phenomenon is called the Magnus effect. As a ball travels through the air, it runs into air particles. Relative to the ball, the air's velocity will be in the same direction as one side of the ball. With topspin, the air will travel in the same direction as the bottom of the ball. Because of friction, the air is then pulled along the circumference of the ball and eventually redirected upwards. As for the other side, the air has a velocity opposite to the top of the ball, so friction does not pull it around the ball. Due to Newton's third law, the ball will experience a downward force in addition to gravity, resulting in the ball dipping down at a faster rate. Of course, slices work the same way, except this time the air travels in the same direction as the top of the ball. Again, air will be dragged around the ball, but this time it's redirected downwards, so the ball will experience an upward force. This upward force will oppose gravity, meaning the ball will fall at a slower rate. Now, this explains why slices don't fall as fast, but why do slices seem to travel slower horizontally? This has to do with translational and angular momentum. Think of translational momentum as the ball's speed, and think of angular momentum as the ball's spin rate. The definition of a perfectly flat shot is when the racket hits the ball head-on, meaning the force on the ball is perpendicular to the ball's surface. This way, all of the momentum given to the ball is translational, which is why flat shots are often the quickest. For example, Kyrgios's infamously fast slap forehands are as flat as can be. With topspin shots, the ball is hit at a bit of an angle, which exerts a torque, giving it both translational and angular momentum. With the slice, the ball is hit at an even bigger angle, giving it less translational momentum and more angular momentum, aka slow and spinny. So, now that we understand how spin works, how can we abuse these principles in tennis? Let's start with the flat shots. Flat shots are best used when you're really going for a kill shot, although when I say flat, I really mean less topspin, because most flat shots still have a little bit of topspin. Because you're trying to end a point, flat shots will be the best choice since they travel the fastest and don't bounce as high as topspin shots. This keeps the ball lower and gives your opponent less time to reach it. Topspin is going to help you keep the ball in the court. Because of the extra dip, you can still hit high and hard without overhitting the ball, as long as it has enough topspin. So, if you're defending or playing neutrally and trying to stay consistent, topspin is a great choice to give you some extra margin. Another way to make use of topspin is angled shots. Again, the extra dip will allow you to hit sharper angles. The last thing about topspin is the high bounce. Because the ball comes down at a faster speed, it will bounce higher. For example, many players' weakest shot is the high backhand. If you hit high with heavy topspin to these players' backhands, it's kind of wraps for them. Topspin is especially effective on clay since the uneven surface will help generate higher bounces. This is perhaps the biggest factor of Nadal's success on clay. As for slicing, it's a purely defensive shot. If your opponent hits a winner attempt, chances are you're going to be sprinting to the ball and really stretched for time. Slicing is often the best option here. Not only does slice give you some extra reach, it's also easier to hit deep. Because you're not exactly in the best position, it's going to be hard to generate power for depth. The slice will stay in the air longer, allowing it to travel further. Also, it's a lot easier to swing your racket downwards as opposed to swinging your racket sideways or upwards because of how gravity works. We've also already established that the ball will travel slowly, so you can use this extra time to recover, meaning if you're sprinting to the ball, you're going to need time to decelerate and get back into position. Oppositely to topspin, since the ball falls at a slower speed, it will have a lower bounce. Making your opponents hit low balls forces them to hit up, making it more difficult to hit with pace without hitting the ball out. Slice is most effective on grass where the ground is soft, which kills some of the bounce. Finally, you can use spin to confuse your opponents with variation. This usually comes in the form of slicing since it's probably the least frequently used ground stroke out of the three, but another way to mix things up is with high arcing, loopy topspin, almost like a moonball. If you keep using the same moderate topspin shots against your opponent all match, they'll eventually get used to it and find a rhythm. You have to destroy their rhythm by forcing them to constantly adapt.